the other day on the internet, I ran across a very interesting little story that I thought would be just perfect for today. And it's actually a true story. And it's told by an author by the name of Auburn Sandstrom. And it goes like this. Back in 1992, Auburn was 29 years old. She was the mother of a 3-year-old son. She was trapped in an abusive marriage, and she was an addict. One night, she hit absolute bottom. She was curled up on a filthy carpet in a cluttered apartment in horrible withdrawal from a drug that she had been addicted to for several years. In her hand was a little piece of paper, and for hours she kept folding and unfolding and crumbling it. It was a phone number for a Christian counselor that her mother had given her in one of their rare moments of contact. Well, finally, the desperate young mother punched out the numbers on her phone. It rang. A man answered. "Hi," she said. "I got this number from my mother. Do you think you could talk to me?" Well, Auburn heard some shuffling at the other end of the line. A little radio that was playing in the background was snapped off, and the man who answered became very present. Yes, of course. What's going on?" he said. For the first time, Auburn poured out her story. She told him that she wasn't feeling good, that things had gotten terrible in her marriage, that she had a drug problem, and that she was frightened out of her mind. The man at the other end of the line didn't judge her. He just sat with her, and he just listened to her. So Auburn was encouraged by his kindness and his gentleness. It was 2:00 in the morning. The man stayed up the whole night with Auburn, just talking, listening, and being there for her until the sun rose. Well, by daybreak, she had finally calmed down. The raw panic had passed, and she was beginning to feel a whole lot better. And she was grateful to him. "Hey, I really appreciate you," she said, "and I appreciate what you did for me tonight. Aren't you supposed to be telling me to read some Bible verses or something like that? Because that'd be cool, and I'll do it. It's all right." And he kind of laughed, and he said, "Well, I'm glad this was helpful to you." No, really," she said. "You are very good at this. I mean, you've seriously done a huge thing for me. How long have you been a Christian counselor?" Well, there was a long pause on the other end of the line. And he said, "Auburn, please don't hang up. I've been trying not to bring this up." "What?" she said. "You won't hang up, will you?" "No, I won't. I'm so afraid to tell you this. But the number you called," and he paused again, "you got the wrong number." Well, Auburn didn't hang up. And they talked a whole lot longer. Auburn never actually got his name, and she never actually called him back. But she survived that night. And she's now a successful author and a teacher, and she raised her little boy alone to become a magnificent young athlete. and a scholar who actually graduated from Princeton. And she concludes that story of that night by saying, "The next day, I felt a kind of joy, like I was shining. I think I've heard them call it the peace that passes all understanding. I've gotten to see that there was this completely random love out there in the universe, that it could be unconditional, and that some of it was for me. In the deepest, blackest night of despair, if you can get just one pinhole, one tiny pinhole of light, all of grace rushes in." So we are told. On the evening of that first day of the week, when the doors were locked, Pentecost, is really the feast of locked doors that are suddenly blown open. It's the feast of isolation and fear, of suspicion and betrayal and abandonment and near despair, all dismissed by a resurrected Jesus Christ, whose first spoken words are, "Peace be with you." No recriminations, no finger pointing, no blaming, only words of forgiveness. So Pentecost is the feast that reminds us of those early disciples who wanted to do nothing else but sneak away, go into hiding, and just wallow in their guilt and in their shame. Yet, to our surprise, the spirit of second chances breaks down the door, and with a love so vast, the most ugly kind of guilt and humiliation is instantly wiped away. The spirit of new life rushes in like a great wind and embraces each one of them with a sense of peace so profound that the doors of their souls fly open and a smoldering fire lights their hearts. And so, my friends, it is for these reasons that we can pray together as a Pentecost community. Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of your faithful and enkindle in them the fire of your love. Send forth your Spirit, and we shall renew the face of the earth. And when you come right down to it, that is exactly what the whole new evangelization movement is all about. It's reaching out, just like that fellow who wasn't even a Christian counselor, but he reached out to Auburn, and he brought her peace and healing and got her back into her life again. And that's what we're all called to do, isn't it? To reach out to each other out there, in here, wherever, and bring Christ and his Holy Spirit into all of our lives. Think about it.